Hey. Welcome to the 8 in the Box podcast, presented by Cash Considerations. This is where we talk football. Last week, we threw in a little NFL football into the mix with our college football discussion. And we're back this week to just college football, but specifically the bowl games. And listen, anybody can talk about Alabama, Cincinnati, or Michigan, Georgia. We're going to get into some bowl games today. Not even sure you know what the name of the bowl is, where they're being played, but they're all being played this week, Friday and Saturday, bowl games. 8 in the box. My name is Dave Sharapan. I am the Sportsbook Consigliere at SportsBK Consig on Twitter. And with me, as always, my quarterback, B. Howe, Brad Howe at Brad Howe 07. B. Howe, what's going on?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am fired up. Listen, if there's a spectrum of people that like bowls on one end and dislike the bowls and think there's too many on the other, I am all the way to the like bowl side. Like I am standing on the edge with the flag waving it, say, don't bring your too many bowl games in here. Let's play. I wait all year for college football. I like these games. I want to play games. I like mid-afternoon games. I like weird start time games. I like weird games in weird places, weird bowl name. I like it all, Dave. Let's go.
This is perfect because I am probably on the other end. Like some of these games don't need to be played. Some of these games, I don't know where they're being played. I definitely don't know when they're being played. So you got it all. Weird start times. You said it. You summed it up. But this is what it is. This is our last run of college football. So we got to do it. People are going to bet on it. I've seen it. Some of the games, they don't really bet on those. Some of it is, but we might give them a reason to do it after listening to the show. So again, thank you to everybody who's joining us, who's following the show, listening to the show, watch the show on the YouTube channel at Cash Considerations. And then we got Newbie producing the show, Dan Alexander at Newbie Talks. Newbie, do you like all these bowl games?
I mean, I feel like I do now. B. Howe has me jacked up, man. Let's go. Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. Let's get it. Ball in the game.
There you go. All right, take it away, quarterback.
Let's go.
What is the first game that you want to talk about, Mr. College Bowl Game? By the way, are you doing what are you doing for these bowl games, these updates and all these other things that you're doing? Tell the people what you're doing.
Yeah, I work on not all of them, but we'll have somewhere, I don't even know the number. It's like 17 or 18 of the bowl games. We do the national radio broadcast, so I'll be in studio hosting pregame and halftime on the national radio broadcast of a lot of these. So I'm not kidding. I put my money where my mouth. I like these games. I want to do these games. I want to talk about these games. Let's go.
This is, but you're doing it from studio. So like people will hear you. You're not at the Bahamas Bowl. You're not at all these places. You're doing the pregame and halftime update.
Correct. For a number of years, I was on site calling the Gasparilla Bowl was the one I did each year, and they did halftime.
Gasparilla Bowl. Where
Halftime
was
of the
that
other
played
ones.
at?
Tampa. It was a good gig. So gave that
up
a year.
You got a little trip to Tampa every year?
Well, I did, but here's the thing. 2 years ago, I found myself running through the airport at 2 different airports, literally sprinting through the airport, trying to get back in time for the holidays with my kids. I said, You know what? I'll just post me up in my home studio here. I'll play a home game 15 times. I'll do that. We'll send everybody else out. So
Did you get a swag bag? Did you get a bowl game swag bag?
Yeah, they did. It was Bad Boy Mowers sponsored it for the years that I did it. Very good. Very good corporate sponsor. Thought it was a great name. And I every time I mow my lawn, I load up in Bad Boy Mowers gear. It's nice.
Well, let's load up and talk about some bowl games that are happening this week on Friday and Saturday. What do you got first?
Well, we're going to start with the first bowl game. This is one we'll be talking about, and I love this. How about this for a location? The Bahamas Bowl. Hello.
Who doesn't
We've got
want to play
middle as they're often referred to, Middle Tennessee State, Middle and Toledo. This game is Friday at noon Eastern. So you can wake up Friday, do a couple things, get the kids off to school, get your coffee, and sit down, and you've got a bowl game Friday morning. Now tell me you don't like these games. Friday morning football for you? Come on.
I'll just say this is a 9 a.m. start Pacific, okay, on a Friday. There'll probably be 3 people in the book on Friday morning. Like there's not a lot of, at least you got the apps now, so you can wake up at home, get in there, download something, make a deposit, load it up on Thursday. In fact, get it done before, so you can already have the play in on Friday. And after you listen to the show, you might want to make a play today on Wednesday.
I'll make this one easy. This is an easy handicap, right? I'm gonna try and be concise on all these. I could go in the weeds on you, but I'm not gonna. Let's make this easy. Toledo's favored by 10 in this one. Total sitting 51.5. Again, as we always do, you give me the updated lines as we record on a Wednesday. Both these teams are hot. Toledo won 4 of its last 5. Middle won 5 of its last 7. But the story here is what the story is in a lot of college games, but it's really the story in this one. It's going to be turnovers. Middle Tennessee State has thrived and lived and survived on turnovers defensively. 31 takeaways, Dave. Second nationally. 31 takeaways for Middle.
Wow.
That's hard to sustain over a whole season. Here's the flip side. Toledo doesn't give it away. Just 7 giveaways on the season, which they're a top 15 turnover margin. So it's 2 extremes here. We talked about the bowl game extremes. This is an extreme. Middle takes it. Toledo doesn't give it to you. So there's your handicap number 1. The quarterback situation is interesting as well. Middle was down to its 3rd quarterback for its last couple of games. Still found ways to win, but down to its 3rd quarterback. Toledo made a change midway through the season and has taken off. Toledo, to me, is the side on this one. You tell me what the numbers tell you. I know it's a big number, and here I am right out of the gate. Give me some chalk in the Bahamas. I'm just going to take it right on with some chalk. But Toledo's got really good numbers. Top 15 yard per play defense, top 15 yard per play offense. Their record should be better based on their numbers. I like Toledo in this one.
I like Toledo as well, just based on what you said, but also when you live off the turnovers, if you don't get the turnovers in a one gamer, you could get blown out. And this line tells me this game is going to be a blowout. 10-50, 10-50.5 is pretty much the consensus. There hasn't been much line movement, and that's the interesting thing with the bowl games. There isn't much line movement. Most of it is based on if a kid is going to sit out now, or if a kid doesn't pass his finals and has to be suspended academically, or if things happen in the Bahamas when you get there and you violate curfew and then all of a sudden you ain't playing, or a staff coaching change. Like nothing happens on a lot of this stuff until the day of the game, as far as line movement. So you see a lot of numbers get up and then just kind of, what we call it, get painted. They just sit still. That's what this one has done as far as the side. I like Toledo. What is Middle Tennessee State's nickname? Do you know? You don't know.
I don't know. The Blue Raiders.
The Blue Raiders. And the Toledo Rockets, right?
Sure. So you're riding the rocket ship? I'm
rocket
riding the
ship. Rocket
Let's
ship.
roll.
We're laying
Run.
10. We're laying
Let's
10.
roll.
And then the total, this feels like an under game. That's this. And I'm just looking at the numbers real quick. Middle Tennessee State may struggle to score a little bit here, even against Toledo's not great defense, but it look like 38-10, somewhere in that neighborhood for this game.
Yeah, I think your under call is probably appropriate. Middle is top 25 defense yards per play. Again, a lot of that's because of those turnovers. And I mentioned Toledo's top 15 yards per play. So wouldn't hate you at that. And it's ticked down a little bit, right? Open 51.5. It's ticked down just a hair.
Yeah, I mean, at Circuit it opened 54, and it's
Okay, so it's come down a bunch.
3 points. Yeah, almost 4. So, yeah, I think the initial play was on under. I think I would back that even at this number.
Okay, let's go to the next game. We're going to go Cure Bowl. The Cure Bowl, Northern Illinois and Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers. We've talked about them before. We've got the Chants minus 11, total 62.5. Is that what
Oof.
you're showing me as a current line here?
63.5 and touching 64 in a couple places currently.
So we're moving up a little bit.
We're
Okay.
moving on up.
We've talked about Northern Illinois a bunch. They seem to pop up whenever there's the highest total of the week. And as we see, this one's starting to creep up there a little bit with Northern Illinois. The surprise for them, we just talked about them the last time we did a college show. They end up winning the MAC championship. Dave, how about their effort?
That was pretty impressive.
Very impressive against Kent State. Actually held Kent State in check. It was the highest total of the week that went under. Of course it does, because it always does. They held Kent State to just 23 points in that game, but they did give up 200 on the ground. And here's why I bring that up, because I think that's where the critical matchup is in this one. Northern Illinois can't stop you on the ground.
Isn't that what Coastal does?
Oh, very good, Dave. They run it 5th nationally in rushing yards per game. Now,
Yeah.
they can also throw it a little bit too. They're going to spread you out and they can run out of the spread, and they have a controlled passing game that they can throw it around a little bit too, 260 a game through the air, but they want to run it.
Coastal was one of those games where we did highest total of the week, and we said, I think, bet the Coastal total over, but the game under, and they ran it up. They run this fast break offense, right? They're
right
constantly running fast. This rate thing that you were talking about, I'm sure when we talked about it, something I remember, I don't remember what it was called, but you're the analytical guy.
Pace of play you're talking about.
Yeah, they run it like I remember thinking, geez, it sounds like a basketball team. They're constantly getting possessions and running them to try to get another possession. They're very quick at what they do.
Yeah, 76 plays per game over their last 3, so they're running some more plays here. Ooh. So yeah, they're going to run it. Listen, only 10 teams in the country gave up more rushing yards per game than Northern Illinois did. Now, they held Kent somewhat in check, gave up 196 on the ground, which is just a tad better than what they normally give up. This, to me, I mean, you know me, I'm going to come on here and just take all the chalk. You're just going to be chucking chalk at me through the whole show. But Dave, I like Coastal again here. Although, I mean, am I crazy taking an 11 with Coastal Carolina here?
I don't think so. I don't. I think, listen, some of these bowl games, this is what happens. The matchups just don't work out for the underdog. Other times, not that the underdog sneaks up on them, because you know who you're playing for weeks in these matchups. But they are changing something up. Northern Illinois can't change who they are or what they do for Coastal. Like, they give up a lot of rushing yards. You're not going to come up with something different to change that. This feels like another blowout. I don't know. Maybe that's going to be the theme of Saturday. I've seen those things run like that. They just ran like that in the NFL on Sunday. I mean, all the favorites except 2 covered. So that's sometimes the way this happens. We used to say that all the time. Like, if you blindly bet all the dogs on the money line in college football, you will likely win money. But your percentage of bowl games, how many bowl games are there, B-How? 42?
I think that's right. I think there's 42
I think, or 43, somewhere.
Ish.
You may win 12 of them. Like, you may win 15 of them. I mean, you're going to go 15 and 18 or 15. No, that's 15 and 28. Oh, that's a lot of losses. I mean, but you win. If you blindly take all the points, I think the same thing. But if you selectively go back and forth, you're probably going to be all over the place. There's going to be favorites that win and cover 10, 11-point spreads. I think Coastal's another one of them.
Well, and this is real quick. Should have done it on the first game. This is the definition of your tagline. Nobody knows. What do you say?
Nobody knows shit.
Yeah,
nobody knows shit at all.
Bowl season is the ultimate. Nobody knows.
Oh, well, like,
because you're trying to handicap motivation. You're trying to handicap who's in. We're going to get to teams here with no coaches. So this is crazy. So I get it. So you got to tread lightly.
You've been to these bowl games with, staffs that have been either depleted or guys leaving or kids, being suspended for different reasons. Like, there's a lot going on internally just to get the team there, right? And like,
well, let me give you. I'm going to give you 2 quick stories, and we'll move back to the games, because I think this is relevant to the nobody knows squadoosh.
Right?
Is that how you say it? Squadoosh? Is that?
Squadoosh,
I'm trying to be PG. Okay. So 2 different times in my career, I spent over 20 years as a Division I athletic administrator at 3 different schools. I spent 15 of those at West Virginia University. In Don Nehlen's final year as head coach at West Virginia, Don Nehlen, Hall of Fame coach.
Yes.
He was retiring. It was already announced. The new coach coming in was Rich Rodriguez. He had already been announced, was on site, and had already begun working, which is commonplace now, wasn't so common back then in the day, early 2000s, literally the year 2000.
Right.
West Virginia playing in the Music City Bowl against Ole Miss and Eli Manning and Deuce McAllister. That was a good Ole Miss team. Now, Eli didn't start, but he came in and, man, he was bringing it late. If that game goes another 5 minutes, West Virginia's in trouble. But heading into that bowl game, it was a weird, awkward environment. The assistants were on their way out. The assistants, most of them had been there 20 years with Coach Nehlen. It was a weird, funeral-esque type environment. West Virginia had struggled to win bowl games, had not been good. It was a really weird, bizarre situation. West Virginia goes out and wins a bowl game. They had struggled under Coach Nehlen. They beat Ole Miss. They handled it. It was a stunner. One of the most stunning games I've been a part of, because I didn't bet at the time, working in athletics. Right. I would have put everything I owned on Ole Miss. Everything I had, everything you had, everything Newbie had on Ole Miss, and West Virginia wins. Second scenario, 2007, West Virginia loses in a monumental upset to Pitt to keep the Mountaineers out of the national championship.
They were
game.
30-point favorites, by the way. That game.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Just,
Thank you.
I'm not.
Side note. Thank you.
People who listen, I'm not trying to bring it up. I was in the book with people that had West Virginia futures.
Sure.
Like at a big number. We all had a piece of it. Like that loss was. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, so bad loss, monumental loss, horrible loss, chaos ensues. Rich Rodriguez, again, another central figure. Had you on the brink of a national title, had it rolling with Pat White, Steve Slayton, Noel Devine, Owen Schmidt, one of the best teams in college football history. Fun game. You played video games back then. You took West Virginia constantly. They were fun to play.
Yes.
Rich leaves for Michigan just after blowing the game to get into the national championship. You're headed to the Fiesta Bowl as your consolation prize. Oh, by the way, you're getting Oklahoma with Sam Bradford, who might have been the best team in college football that year. They were loaded. So you're headed out to the desert with no coach. He just left. The native son has left West Virginia. It was angsty. The team meeting when he left was angsty. There were lawsuits that were coming. I mean, it was an absolute mess. Couldn't have been more of a mess as you get ready to head to the Fiesta Bowl, get that number one Oklahoma team led by Sam Bradford. So you arrive in Arizona. Similar thing to what we just talked about in the bowl game with Don Nehlen.
Who's coaching the game?
A gentleman by the name of Bill Stewart was promoted
I remember
to
him.
interim.
Great voice.
You know why you remember him? Because he delivered what has turned into one of the all-time great pregame locker room speeches. I mean, literally an all-timer. If you're listening and haven't heard it, head to YouTube, search Bill Stewart, Leave No Doubt. It's still played in the stadium today. A wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man and an awesome interim coach, ends up getting the job. West Virginia goes out, steamrolls Oklahoma. Pat White was a star. Noel Devine, Owen Schmidt, all these guys, and won a bowl game. The two games you had no shot in. No shot. And after that Fiesta Bowl, I remember Owen Schmidt, the fullback, who you probably remember for hitting his head with the helmet and blood coming down.
Yeah.
In his post-game interview with Fox, he started by holding up a graphic. They had made a graphic that the 98% of the country was on Oklahoma in that game, and he held it up. So anyway, whole point being, nobody knows Squadoosh. We may be wrong on 100 of these games, so just tread lightly. Motivation is hard to handicap. Just because you lost a coach doesn't mean you can't win. Just because you didn't lose a coach doesn't mean you can't lose. Chaos in the bowl seasons.
I remember that.
Is the point to all those long-winded stories.
We made a lot of money. We made a lot of money on that West Virginia game in the book because everybody bet Oklahoma. Yeah. Everybody. Sure. And I remember the speech. I'm going to have to, after the show, I'm actually going to Google it and watch the speech too, because I remember the voice and I remember going, I'd run through a wall for this guy right now.
Yeah. Leave no doubt tonight. I mean, it's an awesome one. I go back about every 3 weeks and just pop it on. Looking for a good show, I pop the Leave No Doubt on. It's a great
Well,
one.
let's leave.
All right.
Let's
Did
leave
we
no
even talk
doubt with
about
this next
Coastal?
game.
Yeah. What are we done with Coastal Carolina? I'm telling stories. I can't forget. Why are we
Coastal.
here? What are we doing?
Coastal and over. Coastal and over.
Okay. All right. Got it. Let's go to the next one. Boca Raton Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's
I mean,
where
it
we
might
get
be
a little
Boca
intrigue.
Raton. A lot of people like to say
Boca Raton.
Raton.
Boca Raton. How do you? Okay. Whatever.
It's Boca for sure. Let's just go to Boca. Let's go to Boca.
This is a good game.
Is
This is a
it?
good game. Oh yeah, I like this one. I'm intrigued by this.
Oh, yeah.
App State -2.5
All right.
versus Western Kentucky.
Okay.
We've had Western Kentucky before because what do they like to do, Dave? They like to throw the football.
a
They
little
like
bit.
to score points.
Right.
Bailey Zappi. Say hello to Bailey Zappi.
Bailey Zappi.
Tell me if this is a good year. He's thrown 56 touchdown passes against 11 interceptions. Is that pretty good?
56 good, 11 bad. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's
Number
pretty
one pass offense in the country. They're getting an App State team, likes to run it, can play some defense as well. Here's where I'm confused on this. We liked App State last week against Louisiana.
Yeah.
It was one of those that tricked us though a little bit because Louisiana had drilled App State during the season. They were getting them at home. This is one of those with Billy Napier, the coach, on the move to Florida, from Louisiana to Florida, but the line was favoring App State. So it's one of those where we said, well, we're gonna follow the stinky line. We're gonna take App State here. Louisiana wins it. This one, we're back to App State favored by less than a field goal, but you've got a Western Kentucky team that can really sling it, can score some points. They want to go up and down the field. They're maybe a little underrated. They've had some luck this season. If you follow Bill Connolly, ESPN Plus, they're the second highest win percentage in the country in terms of teams that should have won more games than they did. I didn't explain that very well, but only behind Nebraska. So Western Kentucky should probably have a couple more wins than what they do based on numbers. Which side do you like here?
So the last thing I remember about Western Kentucky was UTSA. They were favored. Western Kentucky was a 3-point favorite against UTSA, the Roadrunners, right? The Texas San Antonio Roadrunners.
Yeah.
3-point dogs. The Roadrunners beat Western Kentucky 49-41, but that game was a blowout. There was a lot of second half points scored by Western Kentucky. They couldn't do anything right. They ended up scoring 41 points and doing it via the pass mostly because they were behind. So I don't know if they just abandoned the run game. They needed to make up time, whatever. First thought is, again, to trust the number. And a lot of times this doesn't work. But why is App State favored by 3? I'd guess on a neutral site, the power ratings say they're favored by 3. Hasn't moved. It opened 2 at the circuit, and one place opened 2.5, and they went right to 3. The line is sat here. I think it's more of a coin flip game. The total has me interested. 67.5, 68. Perfect weather conditions, most likely in Boca. Early start. This is an 8 a.m. start Pacific, 11 a.m. local time. Does that affect your handicap? Does the time of the game, you're asking these kids to play a football game at 11 o'clock in the morning. The routine, are they sleepy literally in the first half? Is this a first half under, maybe? Am I thinking too much?
Could be, because this is entering the territory of highest total of the week. So you could just like the under anyway. Here's I'll give you a couple numbers. You asked why the number is what it is.
Yeah.
Let me give you a couple of these. First of all, App State only gives up 207 yards per game through the air. Now, again, they haven't seen an offense like Western Kentucky.
True.
This to me feels like if App State just gets a couple of stops, you don't have to get 10 stops here. Get a couple of stops, run the ball, have some success running on Western Kentucky, and you walk with the win. VEASAN put out, credit to the friends over at VEASAN, they do a great bowl guide each year.
Yes.
With some amazing nuggets in it.
Yes.
So I'm going to sprinkle some in throughout this show, but shout out to VEASAN, just a general well done on their bowl guide. They have awesome information in there. Here's one. Small dogs, meaning less than 7 points for this number.
Yep.
Small dogs are 9-24 straight up
Yep.
and 10-23 against the number since 2001. So to
Yep.
your point, right? You were talking about dogs earlier.
Yep.
So there's a couple things here pointing App State. They got us last week in the Sun Belt title game. I feel like this is, if I'm going to play one of these, I'm taking App State. Hope they get a couple stops here.
I'm with you. I'm taking App State. I am. I just feel like now talking all of it through, App State's aside. I think over. I mean, it's going to be one of those games.
Whoa. You went over. You went over.
I do. My first thought is this is going to be over for the game, but first half under. You get that sleepy start, but then once they get going, it's just going to be back, forth. And if App State gets a couple scores up, Western Kentucky's going to run the hurry up, come back. The game will be close to the total, but I think they get to 70.
Ooh. It's early for you out there, but I think I'm on an early other side. I might go our trend. High totals go under.
Is this the highest total of the week?
You know what? We didn't do it for this segment. I probably should have done it for the highest total of the games we're talking about. This will be the highest of the games we're talking about. Yes.
Oh, then it's going under. I changed my mind.
I got to hit my quota. One play a show.
There you go. All right.
Very
I was
good,
maybe
Nibby.
saving
Very
it for the LA Bowl, but okay, that's fine. Good.
Okay, now let's move on to the New Mexico Bowl. Okay, here's one of those where we've got a team that's having a really good season in UTEP.
Is this an actual reward? You get to go to New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico in December.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's do this, because since we will now not get sponsorship of this program from the CVB in Albuquerque. Let me try and salvage the show a little bit. Going back to my athletic department days, I have spent some time in Albuquerque with John Beeline and the Mountaineer basketball team.
Oh, yeah.
We played Bobby Knight in Texas Tech.
Oh,
I'm about to bring you another heartbreak story, though. You see why Mountaineers are so hardened. Lost to Louisville in an Elite Eight game. Rick Pitino in Louisville. West Virginia had a 20-point lead at one point.
God.
All they needed was a stop at the end, and we're dancing in the Final Four. Here we go. I was in going to a Final Four, and we lost the game. Elite Eight. Do not lose in the Elite Eight. If you're going to lose, you got to go out in the Sweet 16.
Right.
Elite Eights are kicks in the not gut punches.
No.
They're below the gut, and it hurts, and it never goes away.
Right.
So anyway, loved Albuquerque, hated the tram that I took. One of those like ski lift things just over the mountains to a restaurant that was up top. Beautiful set. Like, I couldn't do it. Didn't like the tram. Love Albuquerque. Had a great time.
What time of year were you there? This was April. March, late March. Yeah.
Right.
Much better there in late.
Yeah, but I'll say this. We got all the way to the top of this mountain for dinner.
Yeah.
Supposed to have great views. There was so much snow, the snow was up over the windows. Like 7 feet high window, couldn't see out. Total snow.
Wow.
Down on the ground, it was nice.
Yeah. Okay.
So I love Albuquerque. The show, despite what Dave just said, this show loves Albuquerque. We also love the New Mexico Bowl.
Do we like the game? What are we doing with the game?
Okay, so here's the chaos that's happening.
This is a 13.5 point spread. What are we talking about here? What are you
It's on the move. It's on the move down.
Oh, it
11.5 as we sit today, right? Yeah.
It's down to 12, 11.5 in places.
You see an 11.5. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, okay, here's the deal.
What's going on?
Fresno State's coach out. He's headed to Washington.
Okay.
So they got some coaching turmoil, right? That's what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Their quarterback entered the portal. Well, said he was going to enter the portal, then pulled his name out of the portal. So it looks like he might play in this game. So we've got to keep an eye on that. Fresno State was really explosive. You watched them earlier in the year drill Connecticut on week 0. You watched them beat UCLA. You watched them play close with Oregon. I mean, this is a pretty good Fresno State team here.
Okay.
You're getting a UTEP team that's looking to win a bowl for the first time since 1967. So you would think you have a really motivated UTEP team here. Now, they're not super explosive.
Wait, when you say that, though, like the kids that are there now weren't even alive in 1967. Like they don't like that motivation thing because they haven't won a bowl game in 50 years. Those kids don't care. Do they really? Like
they do, because I mean, again, I've been part of a program that had a bad bowl losing streak that none of the current kids were part of. You don't think they hear about it? You don't think UTEP football fans are talking about what a great opportunity this is?
Well, the
and we
fans
haven't
are
won a bowl
talking
game?
about it.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
but I don't know if
the kids hear
are.
that. Sure.
Do they?
Absolutely. Coaches tell them about that. Kids know
You
absolutely.
think they're
that's a big
talking
deal.
about that like the fraternity parties and stuff? Like
I think
stuff
the
that
players
kids
are.
doing? You do? Really?
Absolutely. 100%.
Man, did
That
you
doesn't
go
mean
to
they're
the
going to win.
fraternity parties when you were in college?
Did not. I was busy studying.
Yeah, I went to the parties. They aren't talking about the last time the team won.
I know. You know what else? The fraternity guys, they're not playing either. So you talk about not giving
Yeah, but they
swadoosh.
were
I
hanging
don't care
out
what
with
they're
the,
doing.
They were
I don't
hanging
care what
out
they're
with the
doing.
boys. That's okay.
Give me the
All right.
players.
All
Give me
right,
the
but-
players here.
So you like the dog here? Don't tell me you like the dog.
Yeah, I especially if you got it at 13.5, I think you got to take all those points and hope that Fresno State's in some turmoil. Now, Fresno State's offense, they can turn it on if the quarterback Hainer plays and they get going, they could run this thing out of there. But that's a lot of points for a team that I think is motivated to play versus a team that's got some chaos going around.
UTEP was 7-5, 7-5 against the number. Fresno's 9-3, 8-4 against the number. If it's that big of a, is there a big talent mismatch in this? Like, is Fresno numbers, like their running numbers, that much better? I mean, maybe UTEP's going to hang around. I don't think UTEP has a shot in hell of winning the game. So
yeah, well, that's not what we're talking about here. You're not taking the money line.
I know, but I hate taking the dog if I don't think that there's an outside chance that they can win the game. I don't think there's a chance they can win this game. I think it's just a class difference. And I'm thinking blowout. And again, when I think blowout, it's favorite. And 51, I think maybe UTEP's team total under. Now, again, I don't know offensively what their numbers say. But I think Fresno blows them out.
Yeah, they're not going to score it. I mean, this has got to be a game. If Fresno's clicking, this is a blowout. If Fresno's totally engaged and ready to go, then I'm with you. I would like Fresno in this, but I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say they can muck it up.
Is the coach coaching the game and then out, or he's out?
I believe that he is. Newbie can look that up for us.
Right,
maybe while we're going.
All right. Well, right now I'll say Fresno Bulldogs.
But you also, here's the other thing. You also need to know that the Fresno quarterback is playing, because if he's not, and you wanted to take UTEP and you got in on that 13, or even if you get 11 and the quarterback doesn't play, this thing changes significantly. So
how many points do you think it comes down more? I think the line move may be indicative of him not playing.
I think there's an anticipation, but I think it comes down more if he says he's not playing. Dave, that's a massive gap. He's a stud quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to know here for a little bit. I just looked it up, and 24 hours ago, a local news outlet saying, still shrouded in mystery, will Fresno State quarterback play? So I think this is, the line move probably indicating maybe not, but so far as anything official, we got nothing, boys.
It hadn't moved. The backup guys has thrown 8 passes on the season.
Oh, so my goodness!
Right, so that's what I'm saying. Okay, you want to come around it? You want to come on? You want to come on board? You want to be Minor Nation here? Come on.
Come
on with it. Come on with it.
Cautiously, if you're laying the points right now, because you may get the backup quarterback and leave no doubt type speech to him.
Thank you. I'll take my
Sunshine came in and remember the Titans and did okay. We might, the backup quarterback, Sunshine. We may work out okay. We'll see.
Okay, you ride that way. I'll take Minor Nation to keep it close. Let's go.
Next game. Taking the dog. I'm impressed.
BYU -7 versus UAB. Total 54.5. Independence Bowl.
Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana. Again, I'm not sure about the reward. It's warmer for both places, but so is this a home game almost for UAB? Like it's a short trip for them. Yeah.
Yes, very short. Very short.
Not sure many people from BYU's fan bases go into this game.
So let's talk motivation for a second. And again, I know you can't handicap it because we just don't know. We're making speculation and guess here.
Right.
But that's a 10-win BYU team that's certainly much more tested. They had 5 wins over Pac-12 teams. We talked a lot about BYU. So if you go straight power rankings and you go straight schedule strength, it's UAB all day long. But UAB with Bill Clark, one of the best coaches in the country that you may never heard of, although you probably heard by now if you're watching the show because his name comes up every year for jobs, yet he's still at UAB. Strength of the schedule, to me, though, is a big one here if you like BYU. Jaron Hall's had a good year replacing Zach Wilson. They're 15th. The UAB runs the ball a lot, 64% of the time. So I know you're going to want to talk total here with me in a second. They have a very good defense, does UAB. 15th nationally in yards allowed per game. But strength of schedule matters. Can that defense hold up against BYU that is more tested? Do you lay the 7 here?
First thought is dog, actually. I'm looking at UAB's schedule right now. At Marshall, at UTSA, tough game, lost that. At UTEP, or home against UTEP, and they won. Seemed like they score a lot of points, but they give up a lot of points. Oh man, this is an over. This number may be a little bit light on the total. 54.5 currently, 55 in some places.
UAB is going to run it a lot.
Yeah, but BYU is going to answer back and score. All right, so it sounds like you like dog and under. I'm thinking dog and over. Does UAB can win this game, though?
Yeah, absolutely they could.
Yeah. I don't think UAB
unless UA. I mean, I think BYU's got to give a little bit back. If BYU's engaged and shows up, you're gonna. I mean, that strength of schedule has to show up somewhere. So you need to get BYU in a little bit of a flat spot.
Schedule.
Yes, correct.
I mean, are you saying the strength of schedule is playing the Pac-12 schools? Like the Pac-12 was pretty much not garbage, but it was, I think, a little overrated by the end of the season. No,
was it better than Jacksonville State, North Texas, Tulane, Florida Atlantic, and Southern Miss?
Maybe a little. I mean,
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Point. All right.
Thank you.
All right. I think I'm taking the dog. I think I'm taking the points. I think if we can get 7. I think UAB can keep it close. And are they a turnover type team? Like, I mean, they have all these wins. UAB was 8-3-1 against the spread in the 12 games. BYU was 5-7, but that was because they were favored in a lot of those games where, I mean,
right.
5-7 against a number, but 10-2 straight up. So they were favored in games that didn't cover more often than not. They won as dogs outright. I like UAB.
Okay. I wouldn't argue that one with you.
Yeah, I like UAB.
Okay. All right. Moving on. LendingTree Bowl. Liberty minus 9.5 against Eastern Michigan. Another max. Feels like a max.
Where are these schools even located? Eastern Michigan is located where?
Ypsilanti, Michigan, right?
Ypsilanti, Michigan. Where's Liberty?
Don't they have the gray field?
Yeah, where they do. Do you like that gray field? I do not.
No, makes me think I'm watching black and white TV.
Yeah, you remember black and white TV, as do I.
do.
Liberty is where? Where's Liberty?
Liberty, Lynchburg, Virginia.
Lynchburg, Virginia. So this is a bit of a trip for both of these schools to go to Mobile, Alabama, to play at the Ladd Peeble Stadium in the LendingTree Bowl at 2:45 Pacific on Saturday. So this is Saturday night in Mobile. What do you got with this game? I mean, this line is what? What is this line? What did it open? 8.5.
Should be not open. It's at 9.5 now. It's on
9.5.
Liberty.
9.5 most places. So blowout, right? We're going to blow out the MAC team. Eastern Michigan's a MAC school.
The whole question here revolves around Liberty quarterback Malik Willis, who probably will be a first-round draft pick.
First quarterback at Liberty?
He's fun, dude. You got to watch him. 24 touchdown passes this year.
First-round NFL draft choice?
Go, newbie, pull up some mocks right now. Tell me where Malik Willis is going. Lions are a possibility. Oh, yeah. Malik Willis.
Wow.
Malik Willis. Watch and learn. He has said he's playing. So if he plays, I'm riding Liberty here.
Why would a kid that has so much at stake play in the bowl game in Mobile, Alabama?
Again, Mobile, wonderful place. LendingTree Bowl. Thank you for sponsoring the bowl. We love this bowl game. If you'd like to sponsor this show, we're available. Right. This show likes the LendingTree Bowl. It likes Mobile, despite what Dave just says. Newbie, cut that out on the back end. He's killed us with 2 markets. 2 markets, he's killing us. I'm trying to keep this show alive. My back is hurting from keeping this show alive. Quit offending cities.
I gotta keep him honest. If he says it, it's got to be in the show. For what it's worth, Malik Willis, currently projected a 14th overall pick going to the Denver Broncos, but stock rising. Maybe a win will rise it even higher there, Dave.
Wow. I've never seen this kid play.
I think
you haven't seen Malik Willis?
We don't doubt Brad Howe's talent analysis on these college teams that you and I don't watch, Dave. I think we've learned that quite quickly here.
Fair enough. Are we laying 9.5? B how it's
yes.
If this kid plays, we're laying. If he don't play, are we not laying or taking? Or just pass?
It becomes a little bit difficult there, but you just pass. But so a couple things. Malik Willis, he can throw it, he can run it. Eastern Michigan can't stop you on the ground. I gave you that MAC number earlier. Here it is again. MAC teams just 9-47 straight up, 19-35-2 over the last 56 as dogs. Eastern Michigan 0-3 in bowl games, but they are 3-0 ATS. No, I'm taking a big number here.
Wait, you said you're laying.
I'm laying the big number. Yeah.
This is Liberty or nothing. And now you gave me a reason to watch the game. I got to see this kid play. He's going to be a mid first round draft choice,
maybe higher
quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know that
he's a D. Listen, he's a D1 transfer. I mean, he's a Power 5 Ole Miss guy. Came with Hugh Freeze from Ole Miss. I mean, he didn't come to Liberty out of high school. This is a Power 5 kid. He's got talent. He had a better year last year than he did this year, but he's a dude. Yeah, he's fun. You got to watch him.
Okay.
Yeah, come on board with the LendingTree Bowl and lovely Mobile, Alabama. Thank you.
Newbie, you going to watch this game at all?
I am now. He's going to be coming to the quarterback factory of the Philadelphia Eagles. So
why don't you two just come along with me? I'm on a 3-year run of watching at least one play in every single bowl game. Why don't you just make a pledge? Come on with me this year. Come on with it.
I'm got to set my alarm for some of these games.
Some people out west for sure. If you're in Hawaii, it's 5 o'clock in the morning starts. It's a little
here's
early.
The thing. Newbie, save this clip, and I want to play this back in June when we're on here talking about the Orioles middle reliever, and we're grinding in June, and I'm hitting you up on the Phillies, and we want to know where college football is. You guys clip this, and let's play it back. Here we go.
Fair point.
On to the next one.
Thanks, Gabe.
Now I have to admit, of all the bowl sponsors, this one kind of caught me a little bit, but okay, whatever it takes to get your name out there. Yeah. Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, the inaugural Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl.
At SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Yeah.
This is weird name. Love Jimmy Kimmel. Again, if the producers would like to come on the show, we'd love to have them. Sure. This is a fun game, though. This is pretty interesting here. How do we handicap this? Utah State's had an unbelievable season under first-year coach Blake Anderson. Came in from Arkansas State, has turned these guys around. They win the Mountain West Conference Championship. Yes. You talk about an overachieving team. It's been Utah State. They do it offensively. They spread you. They throw it. They're a lot of fun to watch. You're getting an Oregon State team that also overachieved. Not thought much in the preseason by the polls. They end up finishing third on their side of the Pac-12. They're an interesting team as well. Line is 7.5. You can tell me the current. Beavs by 7.5.
Yep, that's right. Yes. Current number
Oregon
7.5, and 67.5, 68. Yep. Is this our highest? Yep. This is our highest total.
Well, it's a little bit under Western Kentucky. It's a half a point under Western Kentucky's game. So it's close.
All right.
So we've got a couple stars in the game. The leading rusher out of the Pac-12 plays for Oregon State, BJ Baylor, 1,300 yards rushing. He's really good. Quarterback Logan Bonner for Utah State, 36 touchdown passes. He throws it around. Oregon State's wins, great in the brand name category, but you tell me how good it is. USC, Washington, Arizona State, and Utah. Now, those last two get your attention, but they also lost to Cal and Colorado. So it's kind of an up and down Oregon State team here. Both teams you would think want to be in this game. This has some intrigue. Laying or taking?
This is hard. I'm looking at these numbers. Utah State 10-3, but 9-4 against the spread. Oregon State 7-5, both straight up and against the number. First thought as you're telling me this is I'm like, oh, Oregon State had a really good year. They were in the Pac-12. I was on them a few times in Pac-12 at night games. They were either getting points or laying short numbers, and they covered both times. I don't remember the loss to Colorado. That's a bad loss. And Cal, up and down, young team with Oregon State, so I could see it. I want to look to every reason to take the dog. We're getting the 7.5 number. I think if we get over 7, I think Utah State is the play. But man, is this now? This is I'll do our highest total of the week thing here. This is an under.
Yeah, agree.
This is too many points. This is looking at the game with that Pac-12 spin on it, and I mean Utah State to the over.
Let me give you a number though. Hold on, before you make your pick, let me give you an Oregon State defensive number here. I told you Utah State's going to throw it all over. Oregon State, there's only one team worse on third down conversions. Again, credit VSiN for some of these numbers, but only one team worse on third down conversion rate for the defense. So they allow a lot of third down conversions for the offense. Utah State could keep the chains moving here. Does that scare you off? I mean, third down conversion rate's a big one here.
I don't know.
That's a high total. I mean, I'm with you. I would lean under just because of the number play. Agree.
It seems high. I'm thinking under, and that makes me want to take the dog. That makes me, again, 67. It's not really moved. It bounced to 68, bounced back to 67. Nobody knows shit. Give me dog and under. Dog and under. That's all. Dog and under. Can't get the book guy out of me. Always looking to take the dog, and you always want to need the under. That's pretty much standard operating procedure in the book. It goes back years ago. I can't get it out of my head. When I don't know, I always go back to what I know. I don't know shit either, but I know I want the dog and under. And maybe we'll split. Maybe we'll get both.
Mountain West teams are 13-2 against the spread when catching 7 or more points in the last 15 bowl games.
I like that.
There's your number. I'll end with that number for you.
Good. All right. Dog and under. Do you like the favorite there? I mean, you're a favorite there. You don't like it.
I don't know that I trust Utah State, but that's a lot of points. I'm probably with you. I would probably go Utah dog and under. I'm with you there. I won't debate that one with you.
Very good.
Okay. R&L Carriers Bowl. We're going to wrap it up with this one. Marshall and Louisiana. Raging Cajuns by 4.5, total 54.
Ooh.
Okay, let's dive into this one.
This is in the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Is that right?
Yeah. Semi-home game here for Louisiana.
Okay, that's the first thing I see. UL Lafayette. How far is Lafayette from New Orleans? It's close, right?
It's closer than Huntington, West Virginia is.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
All right, in a dome in Louisiana.
12 in a row for the Raging Cajuns. They lost that opener to Texas and have not lost since.
You're right.
We mentioned Billy Napier, the coach, headed to Florida. Coach last week in the Sun Belt title game, they got the win as a dog. They're coming back, getting Marshall under first-year coach Charles Huff. This is a streaky Marshall team. 1-2, lost 3, then won 4 straight, then closed out by losing 2 of 3. Very inconsistent, a lot of turnover problems early. Quarterback Grant Wells can be good, but again, a lot of turnovers from him early on. He's a big key. Does he turn it over? The defense has been good for Marshall, but you get the Raging Cajuns here. This one to me, I keep going against Louisiana. This feels like to me, I got to hop on the Raging Cajuns here. Coach in, coach out, don't know. At home against an inconsistent Marshall team, this feels like Louisiana lay it.
12-1 straight up, 6-7 against the point spread. 7-5 for Marshall straight up, 6-6 against the point spread. The game is 5. It opened 6 at Circa, came down to 5, bounced. They let somebody lay 4.5, went back up to 5. So that tells me when the number's 5, and on cash considerations, Carl has lamented the number 5 on a point spread for maybe his whole life, but for sure this season, every week, he hates the 5. I think most people do. And as far as the books, the numbers telling you, all right, we got to know they're going to bet the favorite. So we've got to put it higher than 3, but we can't put it 7 because we know the bad guys are going to come in and buy the dog. So we'll put it 5 and let you guys decide what to do. And it's been sitting 5 ever since. It's a hard, it's a literal bat signal that the books have no idea who should really be favored by more than 3. Like this is raw. Like, so you got to add it to the favorite because they're home essentially. And when you look at the numbers, they're 12-1. Of course, they got to be more than a field goal favorite. I don't know. I feel like I'm flipping a coin, and I feel like UL Lafayette would be the side that I would want it to land on. Now, this is at 6:15 on Saturday night. That's 9:15 Eastern. Are you doing the update for this game? And will you be awake if you are?
I don't know if I have this one or not. I haven't looked that far ahead yet.
This is
No, I don't
Saturday.
think I'm doing this one. I know.
Okay.
I got a game Friday. I get through Friday's games and I go to Saturday's schedule. Oh, one game at a time, Dave. I gotta play the game that's in front of me.
Do you like a side of this game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going Louisiana. They got me last week, but this is for the first time in this show a show me game. If I'm backing Marshall, you haven't shown me enough yet. I would need to be
Show me what you got.
Marshall had won.
How do you feel about Marshall? Like people are listening to this show all over the state of West Virginia, just for the record, in that place called Hurricane, or how do you say it? It looks like Hurricane, but how is it pronounced?
Well, it's Hurricane, West Virginia. So they're listening there.
Okay.
Absolutely.
They're listening there, and they're listening all over, and they're probably listening up in, where's Marshall? In Huntington, West Virginia?
Huntington.
Yeah.
Huntington.
Is there, I mean, is this a big deal for Marshall to go to this game? Like, is this a big deal, at least at the school, for them to be in this bowl game?
Oh, yeah. They want to be they absolutely want to be in bowl games, especially in Charles Huff's first year. Marshall had won 7 in a row. Previous coach Doc Holliday had been very good in bowl games. I've called a couple of their bowl games, or called one of their bowl games down in Tampa. They've lost the last 2, though. This to me is it's about consistency versus inconsistency. So Marshall very well may win this game. Rashid Ali has been fantastic. Rashid Ali has been terrific on the ground, 1,200 yards rushing. They could go in and win, and I won't be totally stunned. But they've been so inconsistent this season. On the other side, all Louisiana's done is win games, Dave, right?
Games. Yep.
That's all they've done, win games. So if I'm doing that, now let me give you a number. Let me give you a VEASAN number to back this up.
Right.
In bowl games featuring Conference USA teams, which Marshall is, they're on their way out to the Sun Belt, but they're a Conference USA team. The favorites are 46-11 straight up, 37-19-1 against the number in the last 57 games. So when Conference USA is in, it generally goes the way of the favorite. I'll side with the favorite. Give me Louisiana until Marshall shows me.
Wow. Thank you, VEASAN. That's another good number. But again,
Great
be careful with those numbers. There's a lot of good nuggets, but they don't help you win bets. They help you decide what to bet. That's fine, but you still got to win the game. So good stuff. I like Lafayette, I think. I think that's it. Is that the last game you got?
That's it.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. But before we do, I got to ask you a question. Monday, okay, NFL. We talk NFL on cash considerations. You and I talked about it last week. We're going to continue to try to talk about it and weave it in between all the college bowl games and everything else. Monday night, the Bears play the Vikings. Okay. Monday night. Also, actually, no, it's Monday day. So it's not even either or. But I'll ask you, because the kids play Would You Rather. So we'll play Would You Rather. Would you rather watch Vikings Bears Monday night NFL football, or Tulsa Old Dominion Myrtle Beach Bowl from Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina? Old Dominion is about a 9-point dog to Tulsa. Which one would you rather watch?
I am on the call for the Tulsa game from the Myrtle Beach Bowl, so it's a no-doubter for me. I'm watching that, and then I'm also going to turn around because you and I will do a game within the game, and we'll have a longest reception prop, probably Jefferson for the Vikings. So we're going to watch it. Might be Mooney for the Bears as well. We've hit with him, so I'm watching both. Give me both.
I didn't even figure that out. Like a 2-team parlay. in between the game and the game at night, we're going to do Game Within the Game, which you should also go listen to, subscribe wherever you get podcasts. That is available. We do that every Monday. You would do it with Julian Edelman every Thursday as well. So I forgot about that. Nice call. Way to weave that one in there too. I think I would rather watch the college game. You know what I would really rather do? Newbie, do you remember the name of the place that B House said about the barbecue? Wasn't that in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina?
Yeah, where is that at?
Brad,
No,
how-
it was at the home. No, it was in Greenville, the home of East Carolina, Bees Barbecue.
Yeah.
Bees barbecue. All right. Maybe we'll have some barbecue on Monday.
Little
for the Myrtle
vinegar,
Beach
vinegar-based barbecue. That's a
I
vinegar-based style.
All right, boys, that's going to do it. We'll put this barbecue talk on hold. Thank you again for joining us. Producing the show, Dan Alexander at Newbie Talks, quarterbacking the show. Tremendous job today. I hope you find some nuggets out of there, as well as a good place to go eat barbecue down there. Bees Barbecue. Thank you again. Brad Howe at Brad Howe07 on the Twitter. And my name again, Dave Sharapan, the Sportsbook Consigliere on the Twitter. That's Sports BK Consig. Thank you for joining us on 8 in the Box. Enjoy all of the bowl games, both Friday and Saturday night, late into the night. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Hey.